working? I think so. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to United. My name is Abby Marquin, and I'm the worship facilitator for today's service. Our musician today is Alex Chilson. Childcare is available in the back, and we are very excited to have Pascale Engelmajer as our guest speaker. I think before I introduce her, why don't I allow some announcements. I think that we have an auction announcement to start with.
Hello everyone, I'm Gilles. I think most of you know me. A reminder, our auction is coming up. The online auction will start April 21st ish and run through May 1st, and then we'll be doing our live auction. Shane Rosenthal will be our caller. There will be silliness, there will be cookie wars. It'll be a good time. And in order for that to happen, that means that we need the donations and ideas and items from you all. Do you know when those are due? Next weekend. So, just like in UU fashion, everyone likes to wait to the last minute. You all are right on schedule. It's going just like it normally goes. So this week is the week. There is a QR code hanging around here, or I've got it here. It's also on the bulletin boards. You can just link to that. That'll get you to the web page. If you don't like that, there's a manual form out on the railing. If you don't like that, you can just tell me or send an email to auction at whatever our URL is, United something, uniteduuc.org. That one, that auction email goes to me, so you can just send your item to me. And if you're bringing in physical things, those are going into the classroom right now, since we aren't doing any RE things at the moment. So that's where the items hang out. Any questions? All right, other than that, thank you for the support.
Oh, Jennifer has a question or an announcement. I have lots of questions.
Hi, lovely weather. Because Tim is here with his Building Unity Tour van that's outside, so yay. All of us brave souls that really don't want to get wet, we're going to meet downstairs and just have a get-together, okay? So I don't think we're going to be doing too much of this unless the sun comes out. Does that sound reasonable to y'all?
At what time, John?
Well, good point. Coffee hour, we'll just keep coffee hour going, so probably 12:30 on, we'll focus with Tim. Does that sound reasonable? Lots of goodies downstairs because I've been picking up Sandy's baked expired goods from a while ago, and we got lots of good stuff. So, one more thing is remember, and I know it's up on the announcements, but your pledges are very important, and yes, we do things at the last minute, but we have a ways to go. So please, if you haven't pledged yet this year, please consider it. Thanks.
All right. Yes, Sarah, did you have anything you want to say about pledging, or did Jennifer cover it?
You can give me your pledges or give them to Sam. Please don't pay your money now. I know that sounds weird. Give us your pledges now, pay your money, July 1st.
Okay. All right. After. Now, you're good. Yes. We'll take the money now that you pledged already, right? I think is what she's trying to say. Okay. All right. We will recenter now and prepare for our service. So, as I mentioned, our guest speaker today is Pascale Engelmajer, who is professor of religious studies at Carroll University. We have been lucky enough to have her here already a couple times, and I know we've really enjoyed hearing what she has to say. She is my friend and colleague at Carroll, and she researches and publishes widely on Buddhism, especially on how ancient Buddhism conceptualizes motherhood and mothering, and more recently on mindfulness in the contemporary world. And I finally remembered to bring her book this week, as did she, but the book that I have mentioned before is her 365 Ways to Live Mindfully, which I found to be really, really helpful and fun and really well done. But then she also has this cool book on Buddhism. That's an introduction to Buddhism, which I also highly recommend. But she will be talking to us today, Walking the Talk, the Advice of Ancient Buddhist Texts. So it's great to see you all today. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors and guests, and I hope that you'll join us after the service for the coffee hour. As Jennifer indicated, there will be lots of treats and conversation after the service. So with that, let me begin with our call to worship. It is not always easy to find love at the center. There is not a set of easy instructions numbered 1 through 7, or maybe 8. It is not always easy to find love at the center. Today in Covenant, we celebrate our living tradition, which invites us to take deep breaths of fresh air into the newness of every day, so our minds, hearts, and spirits will be continually nourished. It is not always easy to find love at the center. So for today, we gather in Covenant to celebrate the reality that love is at the core of our beings, and that love will guide us if we open ourselves to the challenges which love requires of us. May we accept this challenge with dignity and grace. And now, Molly, will you come up and help me light the chalice? And I forgot to. Oops. Each Sunday, we light our flaming chalice, a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Please join me in saying the words here on the wall. May this flame kindle within us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitment, and the light of truth. Here together, we scatter and nurture seeds of spirit, service, and community. Please join us in singing hymn number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People, either in your gray, blue hymnal or the words on the wall.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing
build our sense of community each week by sharing milestones in our individual lives, those joys and sorrows that make up who we are. If you have something, please come forward to the microphone, tell us your name and what's on your mind. Take a stone, oh, there it works. Take a stone from the bowl, place it in the water, and let the ripples of the water carry your concerns away to the broader community. Thank you.
Okay. I have a joy. I've never met Gwen Moore, the Milwaukee Congresswoman. I got to meet her last night, and I got to shake her hand. And I will tell all of you that she and the rest of the blue team are doing everything they can, or they're saying they're doing everything they can to stop the craziness that's going on. So I will encourage everybody to vote. And she said there were over 300 people there last night. And she guaranteed me and us that we, the people, have more power than all the money that Elon Musk and all those people have if we just get up and vote. Especially in this election where some people don't even know there's an election. So it's our job. I went through Culver's last night and I said to the kid, remember to vote. He's like, yeah. So tell everybody, you don't have to tell them who to vote for, but you could give them a wink or show them your, but just tell people, remind them to do their due diligence, do their given responsibility in this country, use it and vote. And my arm is getting better, thank you.
I'm Donna. I chose a big stone because I have concern for 3 men in our congregation. Jeff is having surgery Wednesday. Stuart is having surgery Friday. And Alex will be, last I heard, starting treatment for a couple spots. 3 strong men. They're not physically with us, but they're with us in spirit and soul and mind, and we're with them, hoping for the best.
Hi, my name is Tim or Timothy, either one. Use he or they pronouns. I just want to say that a blessing for me and something I'm feeling really joyful about is just being here right now with all of you. I could feel the warmth when I walked in here, and I'm looking forward to meeting some of you this afternoon or the late afternoon or evening. We're having, I guess, 2 events, right? We'll see, okay. But I totally agree with Sue's last comments about that we can fight this craziness together if we come together in unity, and that's what I'm all about. And thanks for welcoming me so beautifully.
I'm Patty. I picked a small stone. I've been traveling in the big world. I've been out of state. I've been places where they actually did say, what election? But then, too, they weren't in Wisconsin. It's a lot of suffering, and if it's transformed into joy, that's all I really need to say.
My name is Safira, and I am happy that we got to go to the ice skating rink today. And
this
that's,
weekend?
Yeah, and that's why
I'm Hannah. She asked me to accompany her, my extroverted daughter. And from that ice skating rink, I'll just add, it was special to see that, you know, you might not feel like you're good at something, but what you were good at is getting back up and trying again.
Hi, I'm Dennis. Just wanted to give you a joy that we experienced yesterday as a community. We served at the Hope Center, where last week you guys helped ground a lot of meat. And 6 of us went yesterday, and we served approximately 70 people, I think, at the Hope Center. So it was a very, very, very interesting day. And got to meet a lot of Waukesha's. I'm assuming some are homeless and some are just families as well. But it was very, very good.
Our trip.
What are we talking about?
Our trip.
Oh, okay.
This is, oh wait, no.
You should introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm Molly, and this is my mom, Abby, or Mommy, as I call her. We went to Minnesota together to visit my brother, and it was really fun, and I forgot how much I love him, and I missed him. And we got to see some friends that we hadn't seen in a very long time, and it was really nice, so that was fun. And then we went to see Romeo and Juliet yesterday, so that was really fun. But it was kind of weird because it was like there was music. It was hard to understand, but that was fun.
All right. Yes, we went to visit my son, her brother, who's in college. Last weekend. It was fun.
Because he's not coming home for spring break.
Right. Yes.
Hi, I'm Chet. Sally's gone again. But I'm getting stuff done around the house. But she's out in France with Sandy, and Carmen didn't go. Unfortunately, she was sick right before they left, and she always buys the insurance for her, so she'll be able to cancel and go another time. And they got there, and Penny's friend, I forget her name now. Penny's friend, who Sandy and Penny's friends got sick, so now she's there and she's sick. But they're all having fun. They had some car trouble, but they just but the nice guy who they're staying with helped them out with the navigating, getting the car going, and they went to a real fancy restaurant. And Sandy was looking for the kids' menu because she didn't like the prices. She's like, "Is there pancakes or peanut butter and jelly sandwich in here somewhere?" It was cute. So I'm getting all the stories. They sound like they're having a great time. They're playing cards every night and everything like that. And my house is immaculate. So.
Hi, I'm Michael. My joy is I can finally hear the peepers. It warmed up one day, and so they started peeping, and it's very distressful that I can't open the windows to listen to them every night because it keeps going down to 40. The other joy is last year, I don't know if you remember the saga of the cranes, but I lost one parent and I lost both of the babies. And so this year, the one came back and it was wandering around by itself all the time, calling and calling. And finally, another single crane showed up, and they were doing the happy dance. So I'm pretty excited that they might have some babies to watch.
Dating service for cranes. All right. I will place one last stone in the bowl for all of the joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts. Please join me in singing the words on the wall. and singing our response.
Walking with you, walking with you is our prayer.
All right. Now we have a song for all ages. A story for all ages. Since we have more kids, do you guys want to come sit up here so you can see even better? Okay, we have a couple more kids than normal today. You can sit right there so you can see the pictures. All the pictures are on the wall, so you're going to want to look up there. Okay, so the title of our story today is All We Need Is Love and a Really Soft Pillow by Peter H. Reynolds and his son, Henry Rocket Reynolds. Poppy, need anything? Little one, I've got you. We've got love. Love is all we need. Yes, love and a really soft pillow. Well, yes, little one, love and a really soft pillow. That's all we need. And Poppy, a roof would be very useful to keep the rain and sun off our heads. Yes, little one, a roof, a pillow, and love. But that's it. That's all we need. Oh, and 4 walls to keep the bugs out. Walls, yes, walls. 4 walls and a roof, a pillow, and love. How sweet, how simple life can be. This is all we need. Poppy, we need water. True, little one, water is essential like love. Water, 4 walls, a roof, and a really soft pillow, or 2. That and love is all we need, Poppy. How sweet and simple life can be. I was thinking, Poppy, that chocolate would be very nice too. Chocolate, yes, chocolate would be a way to celebrate our sweet and simple life. Chocolate, water, 4 walls, a roof, 2 really soft pillows, and love. Perfectly simple. Poppy, it occurred to me, I got behind. All right, there we go. Poppy, it occurred to me we need a pot to cook in and a tub to bathe in. Brilliant, little one. We'll have everything we need. Love and a bathtub, a cooking pot, chocolate, water, 4 walls, a roof, and 2 really soft pillows. And that is all we need. A sweet and simple life. Poppy, do you know what would make life even more perfect? A vegetable garden and a fruit tree. I thought you were going to say books, little one. Books, yes, we'll need books too. Veggies, fruit, and books, all essential. We've got all we need. Some books, a fruit tree, a vegetable garden, a bathtub, a cooking pot, chocolate, water, 4 walls, a roof, 2 really soft pillows, and last but not least, love. Poppy, we do need just one more thing. A toilet. Very practical, my smart and clever little one. A toilet, some books, a fruit tree, a vegetable garden, a bathtub, a cooking pot, chocolate, water, 4 walls, a roof, 2 really soft pillows, and of course, love. Poppy, our roof has a leak. A storm is blowing in, little one. Hold on to me tightly. The stormy winds took everything. The toilet, the books, the fruit from the tree, every vegetable from the garden, the bathtub, the cooking pot, the chocolate, the water, the roof, the 4 walls, and 2 really soft pillows. Everything went flying except Poppy and Little One, who held on to the tree whose roots were very deep. The wind and rain stopped. Wet and weary, Poppy and Little One rested. We lost everything, Poppy. Little One, we have each other. We have love, and love is all we need. Yes, Poppy, and a really soft pillow. Each day is a new day, a new chance to count our blessings and savor the journey with those we love. Peter H. Reynolds. Please join me in singing the children out to the back.
Go lifted up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.
Each week in our church, we take up an offering. It's good to remind ourselves the offering is symbolic as well as practical. Through pledges, we build our budget and fund our yearly programs and ministries of worship and religious education, pay our staff and professional religious leaders, and finance the comfort and beauty of our building. And we know we could easily submit those pledge checks to the church at any convenient time, as long as it's in the right fiscal year. But we pass the plate during worship to make a community expression of thanks for the blessings of abundance. Our offering says that the act of giving is essential to our spiritual well-being as anything else we do here on a Sunday morning. The morning offering will now be received.
Better? All right. So this is an excerpt from Towards a Worldwide Culture of Love by Bell Hooks. I think that was one of her last articles, actually, before she passed. So, This is always the measure of mindful practice. Whether we can create the conditions for love and peace in circumstances that are difficult, whether we can stop resisting and surrender, working with what we have, where we are. Fundamentally, the practice of loving kindness begins with acceptance, the recognition that wherever we are is the appropriate time to practice, that the present moment is the appropriate time. Because of the awareness that love and domination cannot coexist, there is a collective call for everyone to place learning how to love on their emotional and/or spiritual agenda. We have witnessed the way in which movements for justice that denounce dominator culture, yet have an underlying commitment to corrupt uses of power, do not really create fundamental changes in our societal culture. When radical activists have not made a core break with dominator thinking, imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, there is no union of theory and practice, and real change is not sustained. That's why cultivating the mind of love is so crucial. When love is the ground of our being, a love ethic shapes our participation in politics. Right now, there is such a profound collective cultural awareness that we need to practice loving kindness if we are to heal ourselves and the planet. The task awaiting us is to move from awareness to action. The practice of love requires that we make time, that we embrace change. Fundamentally, to begin the practice of love, we must slow down and be still enough to bear witness in the present moment. If we accept that love is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust, we can then be guided by this understanding. We can use these skillful means as a map in our daily life to determine right action. When we commit to love in our daily life, habits are shattered. We are necessarily working to end domination because we are no longer playing by the safe rules of the status quo, rules that if we obey them, guarantee us a specific outcome. Love moves us to a new ground of being. It is only by bearing concrete witness to love's transformative power in our daily life that we can assure those who are fearful that commitment to love will be redemptive, a way to experience salvation. Good morning, everyone. Well, I'm really happy to be here again. I feel like I was here just yesterday. So thank you for inviting me here again. And I also want to thank Abby for the book plugs and coordinate with Jennifer coordinating my visit here. So last time I was here, I reflected on how speaking in a church as opposed to a classroom or an academic conference venue feels a little intimidating and throws me a little bit out of my depth. My concern is always about what I can share outside of the classroom or outside, the rarefied circles of academia, something that can be relevant and beneficial generally. And today, that may be relevant and beneficial to those who left their house this morning, braving the rain and the storm and the thunderstorm to be here. So as you might remember, my research initially focuses on mothers and mothering in ancient Buddhism. I'm interested in how an intensely patriarchal society like that of ancient India, in which early Buddhism emerged, conceptualized a spiritual path for women that embodied its highest values and goals while remaining compatible with its social requirements. So what I found out was that women's spiritual path, as it is described in the ancient Buddhist canonical text, emphasizes not so much the monastic path as it does for men, but the activities of mothers. This was in many ways a turning point for me, academically and personally. Academically, it meant that I spent more and more time trying to understand how ancient Buddhists conceptualized mothers as a role, motherhood as an institution, and mothering as women's lived experience, even though the texts themselves never do so in any systematic way. Personally, it offered a way for me to see how I can aspire to walk the talk, and the walk too, so to speak, in a manner consistent with my daily activities, both at home, at work, in the community at large. So compassion and mindfulness, the two foundational practices of Buddhism, are beautiful virtues. I'm sure you all agree with me on that. But how do you actually put them in practice? When the baby's howling, the thunder is thundering, the siblings are bickering, and you have a tight deadline at work. As Bell Hooks once wrote in another article, when we hear or read profound teachings, and I quote here, we are moved. We may even feel a powerful surge of awareness and possibility. Then we go home and find ourselves uncertain about how to realize these profound teachings that move us so. So I'm going to go out on a limb here to suggest that surely the ancient Indians who composed the Buddhist text felt like bell hooks, that it all sounds fine and dandy. But how do you actually put in the teachings on compassion and mindfulness in practice? And I'm going to further suggest that when it comes to putting the teachings in practice, texts focus on lofty philosophical concepts such as paticca, the concept that all things arise dependent on causes and conditions, or shunyata, the concept that all things are ultimately empty of self-existence, might evoke surges of awareness and possibility, to use Bell Hooks' phrase. But they don't tell us what we can actually do concretely to integrate these virtues in our day-to-day life. One of the features of ancient religious texts in general, and of ancient Indian texts in particular, is that they contain a fair amount of very prosaic advice. You might be surprised to hear how many pages are devoted to the proper way of rinsing one's mouth after a meal, or the proper time and place to cut one's hair. This prosaic advice is often ignored by scholars, especially when it centers around non-religious activities, and even more so when it concerns women. However, what I discovered in my research is that descriptions of women, especially images and metaphors focused on mothers, reveal very practical means of applying the profound teachings of canonical Buddhism in our daily life. And while they do not sound, on the face of it, very inspiring, or may not often cause sudden spiritual awakenings, rinsing your mouth, they do point to accessible and achievable attitudes and behaviors. What are these accessible and achievable attitudes and behaviors? For those of us who live not in a monastery or in a forest hermitage, but in the real world where we need to earn a living, maybe even look after children or relatives, let me ask, what is the spiritual path? Is it coming to church once a week, experiencing the uplifting emotion that Bell Hooks describes, but then being sucked back into our overwhelming and often stifling routines and habits? Is it holding in a corner of our mind the hope that at some point life will be just how we want it and we will be able to find some time for our spiritual needs? Or is it possible to develop a spiritual practice that is so deeply embedded in the grittiness of our daily life that it is no longer disconnected from it? I propose that the descriptions and references to mothers and mothering activities contained in Buddhist canonical text offer us a direction and some practical steps. Many, if not all, of the portrayals of mothers and mothering activities in these texts include references to loving kindness, the foundational attitude of compassion, and the word that Bell Hooks is using in that text that I read earlier actually comes from the Pāli metta, which is loving kindness. She uses love mostly, but when I went back and researched what she did, she actually used some sources from the Pāli Canon, and that's the word is loving kindness. And that's the foundational attitude of compassion in Buddhist text. So the most famous reference to loving kindness is the Metta Sutta, the discourse on loving kindness, which I read to you last month. And you might remember that in this sutta, the Buddha enjoined his monks to develop loving kindness by, and I quote here again, cultivating a limitless mind towards all beings and loving kindness towards all the world, just as a mother would protect with her life her own child, her only child. The sutta does not expand much on what this entails. Instead, the author or authors of this text assumes that all those who hear it, and remember, those texts were transmitted orally for many centuries. So all those who hear it will know exactly how a mother would protect her only child. The commentators are less elliptic and give us some pointers. They tell us that, and here again I'm quoting, mothers do much for their children. They nourish them, and they are their guides to the world. And in fact, one of them explains very graphically that mothers take upon themselves to care for their children instead of seizing them by the foot on the day of their birth and dropping them in the forest or in a river or from a cliff. We can identify here what the philosopher Sarah Ruddick, that I also spoke about last month, conceptualized as maternal thinking and mothering practice. Those who engage in mothering, and that's regardless of gender and biological relationships, preserve the life of those they mother. They nurture them, and they prepare them for life in society. Buddhaghosa, the 5th century Buddhist commentator I just quoted, explains something similar. Mothers protect their children. They don't toss them off the cliff. They nourish them, and they show them the world. Sarah Ruddick argues that maternal thinking can serve as the basis for a politics of peace. When we expand maternal thinking to all children, all over the world, when we seek to preserve the life of all children, to nurture them, and to ensure that they're able to participate fully in society, she says, we pursue politics of peace because we can no longer condone war, oppression, inequality, and injustice. How do we start, though? In the current political and social context, whether at the national or international level, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and not only powerless, but also incompetent to do anything useful. Oliver Burkeman, a British author, suggests we move our attention away from those things we cannot control and instead focus on what is in our immediate power to improve. So here again, I find the Buddhist text helpful. Well, I guess that's my job. The Culagosinga Sutta in particular gives us some advice. This sutta does not refer to mothers, strangely enough, but it describes how 3 monks who live in the forest hermitage practice loving kindness, that same virtue that the Buddha enjoins his monk to cultivate by taking mothers as role models. The text starts when the Buddha visits the monks. Their names are Anuruddha, Nandiya, and Kimbila. So he visits them in their hermitage. They welcome him, as is the custom, by taking his outer robe and his bowl, setting out a seat of kusa grass for him to sit down, and a basin of water for him to wash his feet. Once comfortable, the Buddha asks how they're doing. They reply, "We are keeping well, blessed one. We are comfortable and not lacking in alms food." "How do the 3 of you get along?" the Buddha inquires. "We are living in harmony, blessed one, with mutual appreciation, without disputing, blending like water and milk, viewing each other with kindly eyes." "How do you do so, monks?" the Buddha probes further. Anuruddha replies, "It is a great gain for me that I'm living with such companions in the holy life. I maintain bodily acts of loving kindness towards my companions, both openly and privately. I maintain verbal acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. I maintain mental acts of loving kindness towards them, both openly and privately. So this means like both when they can see it and when they cannot see it. So I think to myself, Anuruddha continues, why should I not set aside what I wish to do and do what my companions wish to do? Then I set aside what I wish to do and do what my companions want to do. Nandiya adds, whichever of us returns first from the villages with alms food, prepares the seats, sets out the water for drinking and for washing, and puts the refuse bucket in its place. Whichever returns last eats any food left over, if he wishes. Otherwise, he throws it away where there's no greenery or drops it in water where there is no life. He puts away the seats and the water for drinking and for washing. He puts away the refuse bucket after washing it, and he sweeps down the eating area. And Kimbila declares, and whoever notices that the pots of water for drinking, washing, or the latrine are low or empty, takes care of them. If they are too heavy for him, he calls for help. The sutta continues by describing the study of the Buddha's teachings and the meditative practices, explaining that the 3 monks, living as they do, are able to reach a profound spiritual experience, or in Buddhist terms, nirvana. Now, I want to emphasize the very mundane quality of what the monks do for each other. They share their food with each other. They fill up the water jars. They sweep the floor. They take out the trash. It's not really the kind of stuff we think about when we think of Buddhist monks, right? Well, they pay attention to the moment. They are grateful for what they have, and they acknowledge what is needed right now and take care of it. Note that even though they also each put the concerns of the others first, we are not seeing here an exhortation to self-sacrifice. Each one of them does what is needed for the well-being of all, but they ask for help when they need it. So, in my academic work, I point out that the words used to describe the monks' attitude and the virtue that they display towards each other are the same that are used in descriptions of mothers. The monks, like mothers, are bahukara, a Pāli word that means helpful, supportive, caring. Anuruddha's response to the Buddha shows that they consciously nurture loving kindness towards each other. In fact, I suggest that they have adopted a mothering attitude towards each other. But here I don't really want to engage in philological analysis. Instead, I want to be inspired by the example. It may not quite elicit a spiritual revelation to hear how these 3 monks put loving kindness in practice, but it challenges me to bring this attitude to my home life, to my work life, to my life in the wider world, to pay attention to what is needed right now, where I am. Does the trash need emptying? Does my colleague need a hand on a difficult assignment? Do my students need more support? Does the current political and social events call for more active involvement? When we are mindful of our environment and of how we can contribute to the well-being of those around us on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis, we are taking steps towards harmony, towards peace. So I will conclude by offering a challenge. Get off social media and the internet. And I really mean it, get off it. It's poisonous. Read only slow news, the kind that used to arrive on your doorstep rather than on your phone. Focus on your immediate surrounding, your family, your friends, your community, the upcoming elections, for example. I'm not going to have another plug on vote, 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 but yes, vote, 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 if you're allowed to vote. And then try for a day, 2 days, or even a week to be mindful of what the moment requires of you, whether it is taking the trash out sometimes, supporting a loved one or a neighbor, voting in the elections, not to mention it again, or asking for help and support. We all need it at this time. And this is how we practice loving kindness. See if you can bring the forest hermitage to your daily life. Thank you.
Thank you, Pascale. I think that was very, very relevant for the moment. Yeah, thank you. I think you gave us all a lot of things to think about. Please rise and join us in our hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
I almost made it all the way through. Next time. Our closing words are from the Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. All I'm saying is simply this. Yes, I have. Oh, okay. I have the corrected version. All I'm saying is simply this, that all humankind is tied together, all life is interrelated, and that we are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of identity. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we will carry in our hearts until we meet again.
There's nothing you can do that can be done. Nothing you can sing that can be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. nothing you can make that can't be made. There's no one you can save that can't be saved. There's nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, oh, love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, oh, love is all you need. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. There's nothing you can see that isn't shown. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, oh, love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, oh, love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you need.
Thank you.